Hey everyone, welcome back. So today is Wednesday. We're going to take a look at obviously what's going on in the markets, what's going on with Bitcoin, what's going on with Ethereum. Markets were down, Bitcoin's up a little bit, so is Ethereum. So we'll look at that. We'll look at the miners, see how they did. It's a mixed bag, somewhere up, somewhere down. And we also have adoption continues with Bitcoin, Google Cloud. So there's a news story on that. We'll take a look at that really quick. And then we have obviously Hive, September production update. Can it get worse? We'll look at the numbers, see what they came up with for September. It wasn't as bad. I think October's going to be a little bit worse coming up, and mostly because of the Ethereum merge that happened halfway in the month. So they were able to mine a little bit of Ethereum. So it wasn't as bad, but it's obviously going to get worse in October. So as always, not financial advice, for entertainment only. Do your own research. Don't fall for scams. And I'm investing in the following coins and companies for full disclosure. And if you enjoy this type of content, hit the like button, subscribe, helps me out tremendously. And let's get into the markets here. So NASDAQ was down 0.09%, so it wasn't too bad. Dow Jones was down 0.1%, and the S&P 500 was down 0.33%. Looking at Bitcoin, Bitcoin is actually up 0.54% on the day so far. We still have about 45 minutes left on the day trading before it switches over to the new day. So we are up a little bit today to 19,162. We are still looking bearish on the daily chart. Looking at the RSI here, that's at 44. Last time we were right around here on it on the peaks, and Bitcoin was up a little bit higher than where it is right now. So we're still looking bearish there. Looking at the 1 hour chart, let's go to auto. We can see RSI has been rising here, and if we go back to here, we can see the Bitcoin price was actually lower than where it is right now. So still looking a little bit bearish right now until we get a reversal on this. It's kind of the trend that we're seeing. Obviously, we have the CPI data coming out tomorrow, and Bitcoin's up a little bit today, so that might be some investors hedging a little bit for what might come tomorrow. Excuse me. So that's Bitcoin there. Ethereum, it was up 1.2% to 1,295. Same thing that we're seeing here on the 1 hour chart. RSI is at 51 right now. Last time we were right around here. If we look, I'm trying to find another spot. We were obviously lower in price here. Going back to over here, we were still lower in price. So it's not looking good either for Ethereum right now. So let's take a look at the miners really quick, and then we'll get into the news stories and take a look at Hive, see what's going on there. So ANY today was down 1.09% to 39 cents. Argo was actually up 2.7% to 19 cents. I mean, Argo has been beaten down quite a bit here ever since they reported their diluting shares and selling miners. That wasn't good for them. Bit Digital, it was up today 2.86% to $1.08. Bitfarms is up 2.83% to 95 cents. CleanSpark was up 0.33% to $3.01. Cores was down 2.36% to $1.24. DigiHost was down 1.72% to 69, almost 70 cents. DMG was down 1.39% to 17 cents. Greenidge was down 2.42% to $1.21. Hive was down 2.36% to $3.31. Hut 8 was actually up 1.68% to $1.82. Iris Energy was up 3.23% to $3.52. Luxfolio was down another 11% today to 5 cents. Marathon was down 0.38% to $10.42. Mawson was down 15.13% to 47 cents. Riot was down 0.81% to $6.14. Soluna was down 0.62% to $1.61. Stronghold was down 3.05% to 85 cents roughly. So mixed bag on the miners. And let's take a quick look at our hash rate here, see what's going on with this. And oh boy, we're still going back up here. So on the average, 7-day average, we're up to 263 million right now. Terahashes per second, which isn't good, obviously. On the raw values, we can see that, yeah, we're still coming back up to the 281. So we are obviously going up with the hash rate. Miners are getting installed, so that's, I guess, a good thing in a way, but it's obviously a bad thing for the miners because they're going to be making less. Okay, so that is the hash rate. Let's take a look at our first story here. So Google selects Coinbase to take cloud payments with cryptocurrencies and will use its custody tool. So this is obviously good news. We obviously want to see Bitcoin adoption happening, and that's exactly what we're seeing here. So this is obviously good. And we can see here Google will start allowing a subset of customers to pay for cloud services with digital currencies early next year. In addition, Google said it would explore using Coinbase Prime, a service for storing and trading cryptocurrencies. So that's exciting as well. And then Coinbase will move some of its applications to Google Cloud from Amazon Web Services. So obviously that's good news for Google, not so good news for Amazon. But it obviously gets the ball rolling a little bit more with adoption of Bitcoin. So that's just a good news story there. Okay. So let's get into Hive here, and we got a lot to cover. So this is going to be a little bit lengthy here. So Hive blockchain provides a corporate update post Ethereum merge, September 2022 production. And here is what we have. So let's see, they are at 2.3 exahash a day just on their ASIC mining. So that's Bitcoin mining. They have grown obviously 200% since July of 2021. So that was last year, almost now, what is that? The 15 months or so from then, which is still pretty good, but not in line with some of the other miners that have grown a lot more. And then Hive has over 1 exahash of Bitcoin ASIC projected growth in the next 3 to 4 months with scheduled deliveries. And then historically, Hive's Ethereum GPU mining was generating 3x to 4x more revenue per megawatt of capacity than ASIC Bitcoin mining, which was true. They were making a boatload of money on the Ethereum mining part of it, and it was very profitable, also less energy intensive than Bitcoin mining is. Since the merge, Hive revenues from its GPU mining were dramatically reduced for illustrative purposes using Ethereum to USD values from nearly 7 Bitcoins per day down to 1.6 Bitcoin per day. That's an 80% drop. That is huge, 78 to 80% drop, somewhere around there. But that is a huge drop, obviously, in their revenue. They were able to mine for, like I said, about half the month, about 14 days or so, Ethereum. So this month isn't going to be as bad as the next month is as far as Bitcoin production is concerned. Continuing on here, Hive plans on making up this revenue starting with its upcoming deployments of incoming ASIC mining equipment, which in the short term are expected to produce upwards of an additional 4 Bitcoin per day from 1.2 exahash of scheduled deliveries. Thus, at current difficulty levels, Hive expects to produce upwards of 14 Bitcoin per day once all scheduled ASIC deliveries are deployed alongside current production. So that would be good. Obviously, that would be something we want to see as them continuing to grow. And then here's the production figures. So 268.9 Bitcoin produced from ASIC mining operations. We use, or at least I use, the combination of Ethereum, or now it's going to be just proof of work coins that are available for them to mine. So we'll use that along with this for their total production. And we'll see that number down below. 2.28 exahash of Bitcoin mining capacity at the end of September, which is good. They did mine 1,394 Ethereum during that time frame during September. 6.59 terahash average of Ethereum mining capacity during September while Ethereum mining was active. So this was obviously the first part of the month. And then Hive's GPU hash rate was shifted to proof of work mineable coins, which has been set up to pay out in Bitcoin. Obviously, they're getting a lot less for it, but they are still able to mine it. And let's see here. An additional 15.8 Bitcoin were mined by our GPUs from September 16th until September 30th. So for the last 14 days, they were basically mining about one Bitcoin and change for the last 14 days. BTC HODL is at 3,300 right now. So they did sell some BTC during the month, and we'll get into that as well. Going down here, where's my other highlight? There we go. So here's the equivalent of Bitcoin production. So 396.3 BTC equivalent were produced during the month. 13.2 BTC equivalent produced per day on average. And let's see here, 2.63 exahash as BTC equivalent hash rate. So that's containing their ASIC mining and their GPU mining. So it's obviously down quite a bit from where they were in August. So Hive's current Bitcoin production, so as of October 11th, Hive is producing on average over 10 BTC per day for ASIC and GPU production. The company is expected to receive approximately 140 petahash of new generation micro BT ASICs, primarily M30S++ models in the next coming months. It is expected that this will increase Hive's ASIC hash rate to approximately 2.44 exahash during the month of October once installed. So that's part of it there. They also have obviously the ASIC miners from Intel that they're basically having somebody build for them. And they do update that a little bit here down below. Bitcoin future growth expected at 40% over the next 6 months. So over the last month, Hive has been operating and evaluating prototype ASIC miners units using the Intel Blockscale ASIC chip. Currently, Hive expects to receive the first commercial shipments of the ASIC miners using the Intel Blockscale ASIC chip in the month of October. So they're supposed to get some of those. We don't know exactly how many, but they are saying here production of these units are slated for monthly delivery through the rest of calendar year 2022, with Hive expecting delivery of the first completed ASICs in the next few months. Up there they're saying in October. Now they're saying in the next few months. By January 2023, Hive expects to have over 1 exahash of Intel ASIC miners delivered. So that's actually pretty good. They don't go exactly into details what the exahash is going to be, but it's going to be over 1 exahash. That would be nice for them to provide what that actual number is, so we can plug it into my spreadsheet. But we'll just go with what we have right now. Let me see here. So that would be obviously, there we go. So that would approximately get them to 3.7 exahash with that. And I still have a bunch of miners that they haven't received, or at least I don't think they received. But we'll see if we can maybe clean that up a little bit here going forward. And then Hive expects that its current investment in Bitcoin mining equipment will not require the company to incur debt for the purposes of equipment financing. So that's actually pretty good news there. Bitcoin HODL updates. They now HODL obviously 3,330. This is October 11th, so they have 60 more in BTC. And what else do we have here? Down here. So since the merge, our technical team at our flagship GPU-based Ethereum mining facility has been busy optimizing our GPU fleet and working with our strategic partners to maximize our revenues through the mining of other proof-of-work mineable coins, which are set up to pay out the rewards to Hive and Bitcoin. So that's good. Immediately post-merge, proof-of-work mineable coins experienced significant volatility as global hash rates moved off Ethereum and went searching for other profitable mining opportunities. That's 100% true. We covered this in prior videos. We saw the hash rate of Ethereum Classic, others go way up. So that's true. So since the merge, Hive continues to notice a trend of declining difficulty levels and increased revenues being generated through our GPU-based altcoin operations. So that's also good there. A lot of the people that were mining the Ethereum Classic or some of the other ones were hobbyists. Those guys have a lot higher electrical costs. So as the hash rate went up on those coins, profitability went down. They just saw it wasn't profitable, so they shut down. So possibly that's what's happening here. And obviously with Hive having a pretty good cost on electricity, they're able to take advantage of it, basically. So specifically prior to the merge, the company had approximately 25 megawatts of GPUs mining Ethereum, generating revenues of between 120,000 to 150,000 per day. So within a week of the merge, this fleet of GPUs was generating revenues of between 20,000 and 30,000 per day. That is obviously a huge decrease. That's 80% decrease if we take the 30,000 and the 150,000. That is a big decrease in revenue, obviously, per day. So, I mean, if you're making 150,000 per day times 3, that's what was it, $4.5 million roughly? Is my math correct on that? If we take 150,000 times 30, yeah, 4.5 million to only maybe, now if we take 30,000, what is that going to be? Only 450,000? No. 30,000 times 30, 900,000. So obviously a big hit there in revenue. So during the period since the merge, GPU revenues have been trending upwards and are currently producing over 30,000 per day in revenue. So that's actually good. It's not great. It's not back to the 150,000, but at least they're generating something. For comparison, and I think this is a little bit misleading here, for comparison, if these 25 megawatts were deployed on ASIC Bitcoin miners mining Bitcoin with 40 joules per terahash efficiency, and 40 joules per terahash efficiency is some of the older miners, like around 85 terahashes per mine or something like that, the expected daily revenue would be about 41,000 based on the current difficulty of 35.5 T. But if we look at Bitmain's latest miners, you can see here that the 100 terahash miner is at 29.5. The 95 terahash is at 34.5. That's why I'm saying it's probably like around 85 terahashes that they're comparing it to. But if you go down here, the latest S19 XP is at 21.5 joules per terahash. And that's a 140 terahash miner right there. That one is the most efficient right now. If they got these miners, they would be doubling that income they reported here from 41,000. It'd be almost like $85,000 a day. So that's a huge difference there. They're basically saying they're only making $11,000 more if they switch it over. But if they went over with the most efficient miners, they would be making obviously close to 50,000 more. So I think that might be a better way to go about it than using some of the older miners. Obviously, right now is a good time to buy miners, so I would recommend them buying the 140 terahash miners from Antmain. So there's that. I just wanted to clarify that it's a little misleading there. Those aren't the best miners on the market right now. And then Hive Management has ASIC mining equipment ready for deployment should it choose to convert its legacy fleet of GPU servers into Bitcoin mining operations. Management is currently assessing the revenues which could be generated from GPU-based altcoin mining once the ecosystem stabilizes, and if it proves economically attractive. Hive remains flexible and agile in the face of rapidly changing ecosystem. Okay, so that's actually pretty good there. No qualms about that one there. Next is obviously Hive Cloud. So this is something that they're going to be doing new that's based on the GPUs that they do have that are server-grade GPUs or data center-grade GPUs. And this is just the beginning of them. So they're just starting out on it. It looks like they obviously did not prepare for this in advance. They thought that the can was going to get kicked down the road with Ethereum mining, switching over to proof of stake from proof of work. They thought it was going to take at least another year, and they were sitting on their hands basically up to that point. Now that it's happened, I think they're a little bit more surprised than they were, and I think they're finally getting their act together a little bit, but it's a little bit late. So here we go. So Hive currently has provisioned its first phase of high-performance computing applications using a portion of NVIDIA data center-grade GPU cards. The company is in the process of establishing its revenue streams for its inaugural enterprise compute service. A second and third phase of the Hive Cloud program has been budgeted, and we are seeking strategic relationships with companies that require high-performance computing as Hive looks to optimize the income from its entire data center-grade GPU fleet. All right. So that's still in the early phases, it looks like. Then they go on to talk about network mining difficulty. We've talked about this before. And then we also have at-the-market offering. So the company announced that during its second quarter ended September 30th, 2022, it has issued an aggregate of 198,058 common shares over the NASDAQ capital market for aggregate gross proceeds to the company of $788,977. So we got a little bit of a dilution happening here in September. And that is it for it. So let's take a look at the numbers that I have for them, and we'll call it a day, I think. But here's just what I wanted to point out to you on the efficiency of the miners, the 40 joules per terahash compared to the 21. So if you're looking at them, they're like the 88 terahash miners here are around there. Those are only generating about $2.97 in profit for them per miner. But if you go over to the 140 terahash, which is right around here, it's $6.26 per day. So obviously a sizable difference there. Pretty much double that amount there, and then some. So that's how I look at these things. Okay, so here's what we got. Hive obviously has about 82.4 million shares outstanding. Current stock price is $3.31. Market cap is $272.9 million. They were obviously valued a lot higher during the bull run of Bitcoin. They were over $1 billion in value, I believe. And right now they have a current hash rate of 2.3. They say 2.28. I have a 2.3. Future hash rate that I currently have them at is 3.9. And this does not include the ASIC miners that they are getting from Intel. So if they do get those, either some of these miners that we'll look into here a little bit are either going to get sold or uninstalled, and they're going to make room for those, or there's going to be an additional possibly 1 exahash here that would possibly get them to maybe 5 exahash with the Intel A6 and what they have left here to install. Okay. BTC HODL is about 3,300 BTC, valued at about 64 million right now. HODL to market cap is 23.64%, and each share has about 78 cents of HODL position in it right now. Now, looking at the production here, we can see that the production did dip about 23% in September here. They mined 396.3, which is the Bitcoin and Bitcoin equivalents, and they had 518 here, which was their best month in August of this year. And their efficiency is about 0.15 BTC per petahash, or if you want to look at it per exahash, it would be 150 Bitcoins per exahash, which is really good here. And prior to that was 139 BTC per exahash, if we want to convert it over to that. Revenue went down obviously to 7.8 million compared to 11.6 million in August, roughly. So that's obviously decreased there, and I think it's going to be even worse for them in October. We could possibly cut that down to maybe, since they're mining, what is it, almost 1.4 a day, add another 30, they're going to be down to possibly like 330 BTC, right around there, I'm guessing, somewhere around there in October. Plus that we've also had the difficulty increase as well. I'm guessing around 330 or maybe a little bit south of that. So those are the numbers for production. They did sell 354.3 BTC, it looks like, for a total of 7 million in revenue from that, from the sales of the BTC. And that is it here for the production part of it. Let's take a look at the miners here as far as what we got. September, they made about 2.3 million in revenue on Ethereum mining, and the rest was just on the miners that they already had installed. We didn't install any new miners, so that came out to be 7.84 million, which is right on cue. And here are the miners that they still have left to install. So I still have quite a bit, not too much. It's like, what is this here? 585 of these 90 terahash miners. We have, or actually it's not that. We have 6,500 of these 90 terahash miners. We have 382, that's 2,282 of these 100 terahash miners. And then we got, looks like 1,750 of these 98 terahash miners. 300 more of these 100 terahash miners here. And then 4,000 of these 68 terahash miners. So these are the ones I'm thinking they're going to be getting rid of, or they already got rid of. Just haven't provided any information on that, along with possibly some of these 74 terahash miners here as well. I mean, those are the ones that I would get rid of. If you look at it here, 74, I mean, they're still 68. It's still barely profitable. It's $1.66 per miner. It's not too bad at 4 cents per kilowatt hour. And then the 70, what were those? So the 74, they're pretty close to the 73 here. Those are $1.99, so they're still making something at least for them. But those are the ones that I'd be looking to get rid of first here. Obviously, the 68 and the 74s going forward, especially as difficulty and network hash rate increases. Those are the ones that are going to be generating less and less revenue for you. And plus, they're just not as efficient as the 90 terahash or 100 terahash miners that they are getting in. So they did say that they're getting the What's miners, I think the M30S pluses. Not sure which ones those are. I'm guessing those are going to be the 98 maybe terahash miner here. So they do have quite a bit to go left. And I got them at 3.9 here. And this obviously does not include the Intel A6, like I said before. So that might get them to the 5 exahash if they keep everything. But I'm just waiting for confirmation on that. So that is all the miners that we still have left. And then looking at the institutions here, we got 104 institutions reported today. 8.02 million shares are owned by institutions, 9.72% owned. And we still have the same strong buy as 1, 2 buy ratings, and the price targets are the same, $7 for the high, average, and low. That is the same as it was last month. Good thing is obviously institutions are, or at least one institution bought into it, so they did grow a little bit here. Their best institution month was in, July, of 136 institutions and 10.3 million shares owned by those. Okay, so there's all that. And let's take a look at revenue-wise. So revenue is obviously going to be hugely impacted here with them not mining Ethereum. They are mining altcoins now. It's going to generate some revenue, but not as much. And here's what we got. So for September quarter end, we're getting about 29.7 million, so close to 30 million. We did have a 40 million in June quarter end, and March quarter end was 52 million. So we're seeing this continuing decline in revenue, while other miners are actually improving their revenue, even though hash rate is going up, everything else, Bitcoin price is going down. They're able to, there's not a lot. There's only I think there's like a couple, 1 or 2 or maybe 3 that are actually beating their revenues from the prior months. December right now looks like to be December quarter end looks to be about 18.4 million. Obviously, we need to find out what they are. I'm guessing it's going to be even less than that, especially since October is going to be a bad month for them. They're going to be mining a lot less Ethereum, maybe around 15 million, but it all depends on how many ASIC miners they install here, get their hash rate up a little bit. But if they're going to be only growing by 140 petahash, it's not going to be much of a difference here on it. So we'll see somewhere around probably 17 million or so, I'm guessing. But we'll see obviously where Bitcoin price goes. All right, so now looking at the stock here, they are current quarter is about 30 million. Last 3 quarters is 162 million. Combined total 191 million. 50% net income from gross revenue, we're looking at 95 million. So with a PE ratio of 20, I think the stock price should be around 23, 28 using the 20 multiple, but seeing that they are not growing as fast as I would like to see them, and then no future plans to grow over the added extra 1 exahash, I could see them being between $10 or 10 PE to maybe 15 if Bitcoin really starts going back up. So 1164 to 1746 for 75% net income from gross revenue. And that would do it, I think. And 15 would be 1746 to 2619. But yeah. So that is it. Obviously, the era of GPU mining Ethereum is over. Now, we have obviously seen Hive and Hut 8 pivoting. So it is what it is. We knew that was going to be coming. We were hoping that was going to obviously happen a little bit later down the road, but it happened faster. And we got to adjust. So hopefully one of the things that I'd like to see from Hive is growing their ASIC miners out. Obviously finding out how profitable high computing is going to be comparable to using that slot, the megawatts basically, for possibly would it be better to do Bitcoin mining. And then if that's the case, sell all the ASICs, or not sell all the ASICs, sell the GPU cards that you do have and call it a day and get into really focused on Bitcoin mining, I would think. But that's just my thought there. Yeah, obviously, so we want to see them growth. Got to see growth. They have been around for a long time, and we're seeing obviously other companies that are outpacing them as far as growth is concerned. And I think that's why the stock is where it's at right now. Okay, I think that is it. That's all I wanted to comment. Let me know what you guys thought of all this, obviously, down in the comments below. Love reading all those from you guys. And that's it. We'll see what the CPI data comes out like tomorrow. If the CPI data is lower than expected by the analyst, that's a good thing. If it's going to be higher than expected, then that's not a good thing, and then market's probably going to go down. So we'll see. Tomorrow's going to be interesting. It'll be fun in the morning. We'll either get panic or we'll get euphoria. So that is it. Okay. I'm rambling on here. Spreadsheet, as always, available to my Patreon members. Love everyone there for their continued support. Love you guys here watching and commenting and everything else. And that's it. If you liked it, hit the like button, subscribe. Helps me out. I'll see you guys in the next one. Hopefully tomorrow won't be a bad day tomorrow. Hopefully it will be a good day. Fingers crossed. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye.